current pandemic situation, whether you are a student, you are working somewhere professionally, stuck at home, like she was saying. Yes, of course, in the Western world, people don't work from home, but in most of the Asian countries, I think we have been working from home for some reason or the other. Now, coming on to my presentation, I think I will first try to dissect what is work-life balance. I think this is even relevant before the pandemic, but most of us has more or less forgotten the whole concept of work-life balance, and we were more towards work because it has been always being mapped by the mind. The way I look at analyzing work, or a analogy to work, is more to do with your mind, where you do your all logical things, your aspirations, everything is logical. And life is all to do with your soul, your heart. And I think we need to create that balance, the balance between mind and heart. And there has to be a line which needs to be drawn so that you actually lead a balanced life. Because end of the day, what is profession is all about? It's all for yourself. And if you miss yourself, how can you be happy at the end of the day? And that's how I think this work-life balance has been in practice. At least I am now 30 years in this professional world. We started hearing work-life balance sometime in the early 2000, where I think the productivity pressures have been increasing. People have been pushed on multi-skillings and all those stuff. And people were, I think there was a growth trajectory. Aspirations were very high. And that's where we started missing the life. And somewhere we have been always tapped to think twice what you are supposed to do in life. Are you really doing it, or you are just running behind work? And that's where the imbalance started. Can you just put on to the next slide? Now, this balance is normally influenced by your responsibilities, by your intent, even by your delivery. Now, sorry. So in terms of responsibility, we need to have a balance between a professional responsibility and a societal responsibility. You can, if you do overdo any of these, you go into the unbalanced mode. And that's where the stress starts happening. The moment your intent is too materialistic and not eternal, you start again doing that imbalance. If your delivery is totally task-oriented and not towards the duties, you are again imbalanced. Now, what has this pandemic taught us? I think the pandemic has actually pushed us back to rethink on all these aspects. What kind of balancing you need to do on professional versus societal. Now, assuming I have been talking to a few of my friends in US, and they have been saying, I think it has been a huge stress because even the employees don't know how to manage office from home, because the environment doesn't give that professional perspective to deliver. So delivery is getting affected. Because till date, we have been always typecast or boxed into an environment to perform. And it was all because it was not the soul, it was the mind which was working. Assuming your soul has been at the work, I don't think so you will ever jitter whether you work from home or you work from an office. Come on to the next slide, please. I think the greater challenge always will be there till we come to the fag end of our life, is how do I strike a balance between a career and a life? And most of us actually overstep this line because of aspirations at times which drives us mad, because of peer pressure which makes us mad. And we somewhere forget our life. We don't compare with ourselves. We start comparing with the environment. And that's where this obsession to be on top, it's good to have, but you can't do it at the cost of your life, because end of the day, it's your life. So I think it's always important. It's always important to schedule your priorities because your priorities are sacrosanct. Those are your priorities, and I feel priorities are always unique to every individual. Your priority can't be my priority because your priority are driven by so many factors in your life, your upbringing, your obligations, your parents, your home, everything revolves around those priorities. So once you set your priorities, the only thing left out is to schedule those priorities. Instead, what most of us have been doing is we prioritize our schedules, which is absolutely wrong. Because I always feel that priority is sacrosanct and you have nothing but to execute those priorities. Now you have to only schedule it. These are few of the way I am actually delivering. I don't have a absolute workflow because I am just giving you a experiential learning of what I had. Now I am about 53. So all these years, whatever I have learned from the environment, I have just tried to dovetail and create some nuggets which may be important for some of us. Please go to the next slide, please. Now, end of the day, I think you can keep your hand on your heart and start thinking. Will you be ever satisfied at your work until you are satisfied with life? And what is this life? The life can be also in your workplace. The life can be a boss. Assuming your boss is not good at you, will you be satisfied with your work? If there is a stress at the workplace, will you be satisfied? No. If assuming you have an issue at home, will you be satisfied at your work? No. So how do you do it? It's all to do with balancing both of them. So I think to define your life, you need to be more meaningful than just eventful. The life should be more meaningful than just eventful. The moment it becomes meaningful, it just gives you that internal happiness and you're out of all the stress because it's all your benchmarking. The moment you start benchmarking with the environment, I think we start getting those troubles. Please go on to the next slide. Now, we talked about work-life balance, and thanks to this pandemic and the new normal, which is work from home, which has added more agony to this problem, which is work-life balance. Because we have never imagined that this will happen in such a digital fashion, in medical terms, that it had been grafted without any slow transition. And we have been taken by a surprise. And all this has been happening because of, I think very relevant delivery by Dr. Mistry. She talked about physical distancing, creating stress. She talked about remote teamwork with zero physical interaction. How can you do unless physically your eyes move, your body language is there, you have that warmth? Unless you do it, the productivity is somewhere or the other affected. You are always stuck to a monotonous physical environment. You are not in contact with your friends. You are not actually hopping into various different locations, which are nothing but it gives you charge to execute, charge to be creative. And that's what we all are missing. Now, execution of professional and household activities from the same location, which was never there. Like the moment you are in office, you act mentally, you switch off your home and you start delivering. And that's why the productivity has been at a different level. The moment you are at home, you actually say, boss, I am at home. Don't disturb me. We will talk it tomorrow. But now that line has absolutely faded. It's all superimposed, all coincided. And what's happening? You do not know when to stop and when to start. And that's where your mind is getting absolutely jumbled, which gives nothing but stress. The workplace lacks professional and conducive environment. I think in the previous session, we talked about what kind of ergonomics we should have, what kind of lighting we should have, what kind of room I should have. Now, those are missing. So I think the new concept, as we are going away or going into a new frame, I do not know how many actually offices are going to be in the commercial space once everything is back to normal, because the world has understood this is the new way of executing your business. And then a new set of what do I say? A new set of specifications are going to come, which will be designing your house itself. Now it has already started. People have started designing an office within a home, right? Please go to the next slide. Now, we talked about all the problems, all the challenges in the previous slide. How do we mitigate? It's all to do with time management. How do I time myself? How do I prioritize myself? What are the priorities for the day? How can I have a to-do list? Can I maintain that to-do list and keep on striking it? These are very, very nominal, minimal, and elementary things what we can do, which actually makes life slightly balanced in this hyper pandemic situation. Do we have a timetable for break within the daily course? Because now you don't have a office time 9 to 5 and then break and come home. It's always office, it's always home. So I think it's for us to get recharged by having something. I have just given some examples: listening to music, do some meditation, do some yoga, whatever, do some stretching, as Dr. Mistry also told. Why don't you go do some outdoor pellets? Do something and have that break, and let that be sacrosanct. Those breaks are needed, otherwise, your mind is going to blow you apart. Create slots for interacting with friends and families during the day. Assuming you're working from home, can you just have a time slot of 15 minutes preparing for the kitchen? These are nothing. These are just breaks of your monotony of doing work from home. Learn new skills, do some cooking, do some baking. YouTube is all around. Start experimenting, do some. I have actually started painting maybe after about 30 years. I left painting 30 years back. Now I think this situation gives me so much of time, because I am not socially so much connected nowadays. So I have some time during the day or during the week where I do a little bit of painting. And there can be n number of other do-it-yourself activities, and which will be very, very exciting. And this is nothing. This is all to do with giving your mind a break so that you are out of that stress. That's all from my side. I thought I can only give you what I have experienced and what I am doing myself. Uh, and thanks to Dr. Mistry for really guiding the whole frame into such a clinical finish. And that's all from my side. Thank you everyone for listening to me, and absolutely very sorry for all these hiccups, the technological hiccups which happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your views on the topic. Surely everyone listening now would be more informed about how they can possibly change and manage their lifestyle with work. Now, we would like to share our app launch, Mitr. The app is available on Play Store. You all can download the app only on Android for now. iOS will be available very soon. The download is free of cost. The app is available in India, Philippines, China, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Italy, Malaysia, Nepal, Russia, Spain, and Thailand. It will be launched in other countries soon. Kindly download our app and get help in your career. If you have any